and I got to mute again, and then I'll hit play here.
Brilliant idea.
All right, so I think we're kind of going for now. Is there even a countdown? Did I see where'd the countdown go? Oh, I know where it's at.
So are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh,
I think we're officially live.
Sweet. Oh, fantastic mugshot. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You are very welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. This is I need to share this out and at least tell people, hey, we're live.
I gave you way too much information, way too much ammo to be able to just all right. For this perfect storm to happen.
Yep. You did.
Oh my. Well, that's okay. Looky there.
I mean, I've got some other ones. You'll just have to wait and see what they look like.
No, this is great. I'm digging it. I sent them over in good faith, and I am not upset with it. I'm down. Yep. I trust you with it, man. Run with it.
That's all right. See, I know that I will get mine at some point. I know it's bound to happen. So, and I'm just hoping that like the audio is coming through all right. You guys that are in the chats, you're watching. Let me know that Jarrod and I are coming through okay, because we're doing something a little bit different. So, let's see, what do we got? We are live on YouTube.
Yeah, now I get to focus in on some of these chats. Jason's already in. John's already in. John, yes, it's coming. I'm told John sent us a picture, so I'm going to check out this picture real quick.
Yes.
I gotta reinstall Facebook. Okay, there we are. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Ridiculous thing I've ever seen. What it does, just it being on a mug makes it even worse. I'm gonna have it. Oh,
I mean, then it is kind of the floating coffee hand, so it's hilarious at that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, lots of technical issues this morning. Lots of technical issues, John. Bite a brownie in the chat saying, internet thing is crazy pants.
Oh, that's one of those tears to your eyes, happy cries. Oh.
Can we do a VP chat only edition, maybe? It was almost going to be that, John. Almost going to be that. Yeah, it was getting a little dicey there for a minute whether or not we were actually going to be able to do anything.
So. Yeah. John, where are you located again? Remind me.
John. I think Indiana or Ohio.
Okay.
I think. He'll let us know, but I'm pretty sure that's where, like, does anybody else do the same thing where, like, you learn where somebody's located in the country, and then you, like, mentally draw an image and put, like, their little head where it should go on the map?
Absolutely not.
No,
but I need to, man. You got to teach me that skill because I keep rearranging, like, all of our friends. I keep putting them in different locations, like the wrong ones.
Yeah. Yep.
So it needs to happen. But I think John, I know John's done some time in Texas.
Yeah. He's saying North Central Indiana. It is in Rochester.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
perfect.
Yep. So
but you have done some time in Texas, though. I know we've had a couple conversations about that. It's just we're talking about internet and cell phone issues, and I've never, ever. I mean, we have cell phone issues out at our house, so that's because we live in a metal building out in the middle of nowhere. So that is what it is. But like the whole state to be down is nuts. Yeah. Didn't do any time in Texas. Hey, this is how I do. I need to start putting faces to the state.
Yep. Nope. He's saying Michigan. Grew up there. So,
You
Dean,
didn't do a tour down here. All right.
Dean saying morning, fellas. Dean, good to see you.
Good morning,
Glad
Dean.
that you were here. Yes. So
Am
yeah,
I
he's.
able to share this picture that John sent us?
I don't know why not.
Okay. I'm putting that on my Instagram like right now.
Yeah.
Because that is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why not. I thought it was hilarious. So,
Okay.
I mean, I imagine if I was a little more into it, I could pull it up and throw it on the stream. I could have made that your image that was just overlaying, but you hadn't seen it yet, so I thought I would wait. Yeah, Mom is saying that audio is great. Jason saying it's coming through fine. And John is definitely hearing you now. So, yeah,
Are we talking about me?
well, all of us, I think. It was just this is different because what we wound up doing, I've got Jarrod coming through Bluetooth on my phone into the Rodecaster Pro. So that's how we had to do things this morning. We tried doing Skype and it was just, I mean, look at Jarrod's face. That's what Skype was like.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I was frozen there for a minute. I was thinking active.
Your
Yeah.
face is frozen the whole time.
Frozen face picture. Fantastic.
Yep.
So we have. Are we live? Do you want to talk about it, or is it still pre-show? I have no idea where we are because I can't see it.
I mean, we're technically pre-show, but I mean, we can do whatever we want. We can go live whenever we want.
We do what we want.
We do.
Yeah,
I don't even have like an intro on this, so like I didn't even figure that out ahead of time.
So you sing it, and I'll reenact it for the people to see it.
I mean, we could play the same one from last week. I don't even know what that was. So, which is pretty much the same one that was like, I don't know, 10 weeks prior to that.
We need some really good ones. Because we have a handful to be sent off, but we need some really good ones.
Yeah.
Are you still pivoting on that one? Because I know.
No. I think we're still going to do the descriptors for sure. We're just trying to redo the script.
Gotcha.
So when we get set off, the first part of the script is the only thing that needs to change. But we need to change it, shorten it up, and then I can get more bang for the buck when we send those off and pay for them. And those people that bought coffees last week have paid for the next Fiverr purchase that we've got. So good job, y'all. Good job, y'all.
Man, they were these. Last week live stream was they went from buying us the coffee here on this, so they went over to my channel or whatever that's called, my Buy Me a Coffee, and then bought me coffees over there too. How great is that?
That's what we love it. It works.
You guys are amazing.
Yep. We have got an awesome group of believers here. People that just love to see your head fly around on little angel wings. And John is still trying to find, he says he's trying to find a dog squatting pic for me. You know,
Yes.
see, that's like your level, like the level. I like to take things up a level. So if it were me, what I would be doing is finding like a video of a dog squatting, and then out pops my head.
No, which is great. But like zooming in, maybe like a blown up grainy picture of like Duchess back there hatching one out. It is in the archives unless you took it down. Right?
No, it's there somewhere. It is
I'll try and
definitely
find it.
there
It's like
somewhere.
episode 10 or 12 or somewhere around in there. It's early on, but
Yep. So
your face, man.
Dean is saying that pick is great, but it would have been even better with just the angel Jarrod the whole time. Yeah, I thought about that, and we started to do it, but I've got a few different Jarrod photos, so I thought they would be.
Yeah, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Popping in and out. Maybe we'll see Angel Jarrod.
Yeah, they will be fun. Cameron, hello from Michigan. We were just talking about Michigan. John Hayes grew up there.
Sure.
Good to see you here as well. All right, John, you got to run. You run. We'll be back here doing something, we think.
See you, man.
All right, let's see. We're going to hit the intro in one.
Welcome to the Vlog Pastors Podcast, a podcast all about the stories and strategies of sharing God's love in the digital world. Now, here are two pastors that love to put a camera in their face and walk around in public. They are the Bill and Ted of digital ministry, Jarrod Brown and Joshua Verwers.
That is right. I am Joshua Verwers. This guy right here that you can only see a face and hear audio is the one and only Jarrod Brown. Jarrod, how you doing?
Howdy-ho. I'm doing well. Doing well. It's so weird to hear your name with like a British accent. I love it.
It is, but it's awesome.
I don't think the audience can hear it, but like I go along to that thing nearly every time, I would say. I love that.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well,
no, it's not weird. I love it too. Like I always grew up with my voice and thinking, I'm not quite sure how I like hearing, or not my voice, but my last name and hearing it, because everybody, pronounces it wrong. But then
they say viewers, don't they?
Yeah, viewers or Verwers or I don't know, Verwers, or it's like, I don't know, they're putting extra vowels all over the place, and some of them that aren't even there. So it was odd growing up and hearing that, but then, I don't know, once I started saying it online, it was like, well, all of a sudden everybody knows how to pronounce it, probably because there I am pronouncing it. So then when we decided to do this stuff, and I remember sending it out over on Fiverr to Keely the first time, and she sent it back, and that was for the Digital Ministry Podcast. And I'm like, oh, I love hearing my name in a British female voice. So
it's crazy.
I was like, we're going to do it.
There's something about, ever since Star Wars, there's something about the British voice where you're like, oh, fantastic, also evil.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear that fantastic accent that's kind of quasi-evil, pronounce my name and say, Jarrod Brown.
Yes.
Can't even do it.
And I've thought about doing like an Aussie accent or like a South African accent too, because they've got very unique and distinct accents. So thought about that. We'll have to see whether or not we change it up or we just keep going with Keely, because it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so Jarrod, why is it that we only have little pictures of your face and we don't have a video of your face right now?
What's hilarious is that I caught the last piece of what you're just saying right now, and that's the issue. There's something going on in Texas called the STAR test, and I was totally unaware. I mean, you hear it in the kids. It's our standardized testing system, for the all the kiddos of the state, where they see what they've learned in their courses this year. So anyway, they are taking their tests, and they have moved that entirely online. And what I've also noticed in conversation with some of the professors, a lot of the finals, a lot of the before pre-finals, whatever, their last series of testing are this week as well at the universities. So everybody is online taking these tests, and businesses going on about their business. Well, they have messed up the internet. It's not that it doesn't work. It's just very slow. I saw some people posting about it yesterday, and I thought, it's an overreaction. It is not an overreaction. I'm going to post on my Instagram story here in just a second some of the speeds that we were looking at this morning. It was like 0.1 up and 1.6 down, and I normally have 60, which is slow for here, 60 and 10.
Yeah.
So just crazy speeds. But I think everyone is trying to take these tests and find other ways around it, because the teachers, even Jessie and her staff, are talking about this, other ways around it. So they're going to sell. So everybody's on the cell towers now trying to work around these testing situations and doing hotspots and all sorts of stuff. And, there's a strain apparently on our system. And I am blown away by this, Joshua, because it's like we're getting a bad rap. We had the energy crisis a couple weeks ago, I guess a couple months ago now, when we had the ice over thing that came through and iced over our wind towers, and we tried trying to go more green, and so 30% of our towers go down, and we were going for stretch and growth in that time frame rather than protecting our infrastructures and blah blah blah. We kind of got a bad name for that. But I'm telling you, dude, there is a mass exodus. Now we've kind of mentioned it in the stream in the last couple of weeks, but there's a mass exodus from California, New York, Those are the main ones right now.
Yeah.
But mass exodus from those states to Texas, and there are so many people coming in to our state. We're flooded, and I don't know that not to mention border stuff, but that's
right.
thousands. But we're talking tons and tons of people from out of state that are popping up in this rural. We're in the middle of nowhere area. Like, we're even noticing tons and tons of families moving into town. It's like, what is going on? So I guess we're going to have to start dealing with infrastructure issues.
Well, it sounds like it. And that's the crazy part to me. Because of it being Texas is essentially its own country. And to have that much infrastructure problem it's confusing to me. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, new idea just came to me. Let's build a wall. Okay?
All the way around the state?
All the way around the state. Okay? And then we're going to vet you guys before you come in down here.
Yeah.
No, man. We've got a good kick in the pants coming, and we're going to have to get back up to being inventive and find some creative ways to figure out how to fix some of these problems.
Yeah, because I mean, it just like, and this doesn't make sense to me because yes, this is happening, and it's happening when you guys are doing your state test, the STAR test, but you guys have been doing like online learning through the majority of the schools for the last year.
Yes.
And that's the thing that boggles me. It's like, it's not like anything new has really happened with this state testing. The same amount of people that are online now should have been online over the last year. So that's where it's like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But like you're saying, there's a migration of people, not just from the South, but from Northeast and West that are coming into Texas. And those numbers just keep increasing. So it's bound to start to give way sooner or later. And I'm sure that at least this testing is probably going to be slightly more taxing on some of the systems than the normal, online learning. So
this is their, I believe I understand them correctly. This is their first time, because I think last year they let the standardized testing go because it was a free for all. Everybody just trying to figure out what to do, how to get students to class, but how do we get online, that sort of thing. This is the first year that they're enforcing, like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
In school, out of school, in person, I should say, out of homeschool, you need to take these tests. And there's a learning curve, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes sense that is happening with regards to that. I mean, because of not doing it last year. And Iowa was the same way, where I think we just kind of went on spring break and then came back in August. So it was like an extra long spring break, and they just, everybody's just moving on. Let's just forget about 2020. Interesting for sure. So Dennis is sitting here and saying, Jarrod looks like he's had too many bites of brownies.
I see you, Dennis. What are you saying, man? Huh?
Yeah, make sure to give him one of those faces.
I have no idea what picture's up right now, but I see you, Dennis.
Yeah, this was kind of interesting because I had just created scheduled the stream out, and I usually do it, half hour to an hour before we go live. So I had just started to schedule it. I was getting ready to hit the save, so then it would send out. And you popped in with a text message, audible. So to try to figure out what we're doing, with a half hour before we're supposed to go live, trying to do something with Skype, seeing if that was working. The video wasn't coming through very well. The audio was coming through about as good. And it was like, all right, well, let's try to do a phone call, and we'll pull it through the Rodecaster. And this is where I appreciate technology.
Yeah, baby.
So,
yeah. Well, this is amazing that we can do this. I mean, you've got some skills. You got a bag. You have a particular set of skills. You're really able to do something with this. Take a phone call and turn it into a show.
And if I had had a little bit more time, like an extra half hour, I likely would have had looping images for you, so they just kind of fade from one to another, and put about a dozen of those fun faces you gave me on there. And then with like a waveform that would be going as well. So as you're speaking, it would register. But if
how do they? You're gonna have to teach me that one. I really want to know how to do that. So whenever I'm doing a vlog, I can do like the waveform thing when I'm on the phone with somebody.
Yep. So that's I've been playing around with that through OBS. So there's a couple plugins that you can use through OBS to do that. And that's the easiest way that I've found. But like if I had another half hour, I probably could have made it work for this. Now knowing that there is a scenario where Texas can't keep up with their infrastructure, we might have to do this again. I'll start preparing.
So. I mean, you wouldn't believe the outrage on the electricity fiasco. I mean, I'm glad that entire board resigned because I was fearful for them.
Yeah,
there was so much frustration with how that all went down. I would imagine you take people's internet away when they're trying to Netflix and Hulu and all that mess this afternoon. Oh my word, heads will roll. We don't do well with stuff like that down yonder.
No,
you better take care of your business, and to not have this, or at least give any sort of warning that this was coming. I think they won't let it happen again. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. Hey, I was going to tell you something because you're a Texas guy and you like your Second Amendment. Did you hear about Iowa?
What happened?
We are now
we open carry?
Constitution carry.
Ooh.
So yeah, past that, we've already been open carry with permit. So we've been that for a while and been shall issue, but they just passed it in the legislature a few weeks ago. And then the governor just signed it, I believe, last week, as well as some extra protection for those sellers and distributors for frivolous lawsuits to protect them.
On, man.
So yeah, it was a good bill. It's been a long time coming, and of course in Iowa we take little bites here and there, but I was glad to see that. Yeah, so it was. You were just talking about fearful for the. Your board's, well-being, and I was like, well, yeah, because you got a bunch of gun-toting Texas down there.
I guess I have to clarify, since we are on YouTube and people get, taken down for all sorts of things. I don't think, you don't ever know with this climate. I'm not advocating for anything like that.
No.
Be any sort of uprising and guns involved, but
it was just the first thought that came to my mind.
It was a good thing they got out of town. That's all I know. It was a good thing.
Yep.
Got out of Dodge, as they say.
So, hey, what else has been going on in your neck of the woods apart from, losing internet access?
Oh, yeah, man. Busy season. And again, not to loop back on last week's episode, but, time is that thing. I've been having a blast. I got a little discouraged over Easter. I'll just be forthright with that. In just not knowing where we're going, what we're doing. I was hoping by Easter to be able to tell everyone in our congregation. For those of you who don't know, we felt led of the Lord to sell our church. Burn the ships was the actual word. And we took that to mean selling of our church and launching off into this new endeavor. Well, we're going through Exodus, and I was ready to walk from one ship into the flagship, so to speak. I'm ready to hop aboard the next place that he has for us. Well, there's a desert wilderness. Apparently, you don't get to go immediately into the promised land, and that wilderness trek, at least beginning out on that, has been less comfortable than I would like to admit. So that's been fun. It's had my attention, and I've been telling the congregation for weeks not about the building. And I find myself gravitating towards buildings, and I'm taking tours of places, and praying with elders, and finding out if this is the place that God has for us, and a bunch of shut doors, a bunch of open doors, a bunch of opinions, a bunch of all that stuff. And I was hoping that by Easter I could say, listen, guys, we celebrated Passover, we celebrated communion together. That whole time is over, and we're moving out into, and there's just not any real answers on that. But, that sounds kind of like, oh, bummer.
Right.
It's been exciting as all get out. It's like our steps are ordered, and that's been such a blast. So that's just life and everything with that. We had Passover meal, like I said, last week. That was a blast. It was a blast because we had a bunch of people who have never experienced it before.
Mm-hmm.
And, in our style, it's going to be as historical as possible so we can, understand why they celebrate, why all this happened, what Jesus participated in, but, as grace-filled as possible, too, because we're going to miss some stuff.
Yeah. Right.
When they haven't ever been before and they show up and they've got these, like, cakes and, full-on bread whenever we were talking about breaking bread together and that sort of thing. It's like, no. Sorry, guys. Unleavened.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we had that covered. So anyway, it was fun to see all that happen. Video side, channel side, I had to take kind of a pause with everything that is going on for our vlogs, and that still filming, still doing all that, but just haven't edited anything. Took on another, I think in my last vlog that I released last week, I believe it was. I took on a friend. He was wanting to take YouTube more seriously, and he's a coffee guru, man. Just
coffee snob.
Guru. Snob. Yeah, that's the name of his channel, isn't it?
Yep.
Coffee snob. And he was like, I want to put this somewhere. Like, I want to teach people about coffee, and on the side, affiliates and whatnot. And if anything comes of it, great. But I don't want to run the camera side. I don't want to do the YouTube algorithm game. And I said, man, every time you've posted something, it's done well. It's 20,000, 80,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And whatever, not all on his channel, but in the different times that he's posted videos. And it's like, man, I can help you with that. We posted that video last week of his on his channel. I think it was last week, maybe a week before. Nothing. Crickets. So anyway, been working with him on that. He's still got quite a few more coming out, so we're gonna have to pivot, figure out how to make videos for him, as well as me, and find a work schedule that I'm doing my channel, his channel, and my channel doesn't take away. So, like you said, time, doing lots of cool, fun, exciting stuff, but there's just a lot going on. Spinning some plates, but it's all really, really fun.
Nice.
What about you, man? I have not caught your digital ministry podcast in like 2 weeks now. It drives me crazy.
Oh, then you've missed a couple good episodes. So I can't remember, man, I don't even remember what last week's episode was. But for those that are wanting to check it out, you can go to anchor.fm/digital ministry. Last week, the YouTube short strategy. But you being on the buy me the coffee, you're able to kind of see that strategy and what was going on there. But then yesterday, because I had Monday off, so for some reason, I'm guessing it was just kind of an Easter, type of a mini spring break that the schools did. So we had Friday and Monday off. I still had to do some work on Friday. Saturday and Sunday are usually work. So I was like, I'm actually going to take a Monday off. So I didn't do the podcast on Monday, but I did it yesterday. And it was going to be 5 vertical video ideas. And it turned into 10 vertical video ideas. So under promise, over deliver.
There you go.
And these are just a bunch of ideas that, like I had said, I've not done a lot of those, list type of videos where it's 5 things or 10 things. I haven't done a lot of that. I surprisingly enjoyed it. So probably be on the lookout. I'm going to be doing some more of that. And I can see it really happening especially doing the What Joshua show, which I've got to get some more of those videos recorded. And part of that has been, we mentioned this last week where I'm working on that, the online course. And so for that, there's a bunch of other resources. And so I want to make sure that they know how to do this or how to do that. And a lot of those how-tos, those could be just regular YouTube videos. So I've got to kind of map all of that stuff out and make sure that I have all of those videos created before the course launches. And then they have to be created and kind of uploaded and static on the channel. So that way it's linked to how do you do this? How do you do that? That's kind of what the plan is for that. So I've hit pause on the What Joshua content while I'm trying to restructure and at least get an idea of the course and what needs to be in place for that. So that's one of those things that I've been working on. And I also, fun one, found out confirmation last week that on Saturday, May 8th, so in 1 month, I will be getting back in the wrestling ring. It is going to happen. So that's.
So was there a chance that you would just be like a personality that kind of bopped in on the side and only a handful are going to get to wrestle? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. So, well, part of it is, they had mentioned it last year and they wanted me to be in the ring, but then because of everything happening with COVID, they stopped running shows altogether. And May 8th will be their first show back with a live audience. And because it's the first one back with a live audience, and you've got all of these guys, the local guys that are already wrestling, and they kind of, they're chasing after their dreams, so they need that exposure. They need that ability to get into those matches. And I didn't really want to take away from that. I also didn't know how many slots were going to be open. And so it was like, I just needed to find out from the promoter, hey, I'm still planning on being there because it's kind of like an anniversary show. But especially with, COVID and everything, what am I doing? Do you want me to be a part of it? Do you want me to get in the ring? Do you want me to lace up my boots? That was kind of the question. And I don't know exactly what all it's going to look like, but I do know that I'll at least be in gear and competing in some fashion. So that was something he did say. He wants me, and he's like, make sure you bring your gear, make sure you're ready, and yeah, we'll get you working. So I don't know what that looks like yet.
Dude, that's awesome.
But yeah, something. So that's kind of, I'm looking forward to that. I hopped in, was it 3 years ago, I think. But prior to that, I haven't wrestled regularly since, I think it was 2008, maybe. So, a few years ago, I had been out for about 10 years at that point. Yeah, it would have been 10 years with being out of the ring. And here we are 3 years later and hopping back in, and I don't train. I'll show up, and if I get hurt, I guess I get hurt, which was something else. Like, I don't know if anybody saw it. I think I might have posted something. I don't know where I posted it at or did one of the vlog style sermon we did a few weeks ago. I was doing this little, what I thought was humorous, talking about, the man that was born lame and how, he had nobody to put him into the pool. And I was just kind of cracking a joke in the middle of the sermon about, how much effort did that guy really need to put in? Have somebody
rolling in.
Yeah, just have him roll in. It's not like you got to do much. So I laid down on the stage, and it's 2 steps. Like, actually, it's 1 step. You're on the floor, you have 1 step, and then the next one up, and you're on the stage. These are small steps. So there I am at church, and I kind of rolled off. Well, I hadn't recorded the vlog style sermon yet, and I rolled off, and it was hilarious. I thought it was funny, and people laughed. So I'm thinking, well, I need to recreate this. So then when I went back down to record the vlog, I rolled again. However, when I rolled that time, I landed directly on my shoulder, and my elbow was like tucking underneath me, and it pushed in on my ribs. And my ribs had been sore for like 3 weeks. I was a little concerned that I might have done some damage, but I was refusing to go to the doctor just in case I was going to be wrestling. I didn't want to have the doctor say, no, you can't. So I was planning on wrestling injured. However, that being said, I'm feeling much better now. So, so I think all I did, I probably just bruised him a little bit. Just the way that I landed, which apparently that means I'm old and out of shape, and I probably shouldn't be getting into the wrestling ring, which means I'm going to.
This is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah. So I don't have ticket information for those that would be interested in checking it out. It's going to be in Des Moines, Iowa, Saturday, May 8th. I don't know exactly what time yet, but as soon as I have ticket information, I'll make sure to post it on my social channels. And I did get confirmation from them that they are going to do like basically a Facebook type of pay-per-view. So for those that can't attend in person, they'll be able to watch it, streaming live. So I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. You probably should have been doing that for the last year.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yep.
What are their feelings towards cameras in the audience?
Their feeling
Mm-hmm.
depends on who it is. I mean, when I was there a few years ago, I had my camera. I don't remember which one. It might have just been my phone, but I was recording it. Like, I've got footage somewhere around of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it depends. I mean, they record it. They wouldn't want the whole show,
Sure.
somebody to take that and stream that. But at the same time,
see Joshua get slammed a
Yeah.
couple of times, or do the slamming a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know?
at the same time, even back when I wrestled, I always had a camera with me. And it didn't matter if they were recording it, I was recording it for myself as well. So it's a similar thing that I do even when I'm out there preaching. It's like, yeah, I'll show up and, you can record this and you've got that, but I'm recording it and I'm going to use my own as well. So yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, I will have maybe cameras present. So we'll see if I can get my Sony ZV-1 in that time, or if I happen to have other people that have cameras showing up and in attendance.
Mm-hmm. We might put like a Pico mic on you. Nobody would be the wiser.
Yeah. Small and discreet.
Yep.
Tape it down
you could
somewhere.
walk us through what you're thinking as you're being hurled out of the ring. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. All you would probably hear is a bunch of. So,
Man, I'm with John. He says, I'm about to turn 40 and I'm realizing my body is not the same as it used to be.
yeah. Yep.
Yes. You're a nutter, dude.
I am right there with you. Yeah. I'll get this match in just before I turn 40. So I'll turn 40 in June. And, man. Yep. My body is not even close to being the same as it was. I mean, part of that's just because I typically just sit here and I don't move. So it's like,
I love that vlog that you made where you're sitting outside and you're like talking about getting back in shape or whatever, and you're like, but I'm not going to the gym. You
Right.
can't make me, and I won't. I'm not going to. I'm
I
like,
don't.
I slow clapped you right there, man. I'm like, hats off to you,
Yeah.
my friend.
I'm not like, and then after that, I think I actually got a gym membership. And you know what I went to the gym for? To use the tanning bed. Ooh, that's what I got to do. I forgot. I used to tan when I was wrestling because tan fat looks better than white fat.
Oh my goodness. You've got to do the build up to this. Like getting back into the ring or something like that. Like a whole series on it.
Yeah. There will be some vlogging happening. Yeah, there'll be something there. But yeah, I don't know exactly what. And they've given me access if I want to go up and I want to hop in the ring ahead of time and do some training, I can.
You've got to. You've got to.
I don't know if I want to. I could get hurt.
Film it for us. Yeah, dude. Let's just rip the curtain back, okay?
Yeah.
You're probably going to get hurt.
Yeah.
This is a contact, aggressive sport.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to. I would rather just save everything up for the day of, and then when I get hurt, it's all at once.
Gotcha.
So it was like
bills, all medical expenses to after.
Yeah. Back
showtime.
Back when I was wrestling, one of the things that a lot of the veterans that I was talking with and kind of training and getting some advice from, they were talking about how wrestlers have what they've got as a bump card. And so every fall that you take is called a bump. And the theory behind it is your body can only take so many bumps. So you've got to use that bump card wisely. So for me, it's like all the holes on my bump card have been punched. I don't have any more left. So it's like, if I'm going to take a few bumps, man, I'm kind of working on borrowed time here. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, Dustin there. Christopher Daniels comment. I couldn't remember exactly who that was, Dustin. So yes, the bump card, which Dustin will be there. I think Dustin's got one bump left in him as well. So
is he getting in the ring?
He is planning on getting in the ring.
Okay.
From what I heard. So
that was my understanding, but I don't want to commit him to something.
Yes.
He has 3 left.
He has 3 bumps left.
Joshua?
3 bumps left. He'll probably say that one of them has to go towards me. So we will see. And I would rather take bumps than those chops. I mean, backhand chop across the chest just to make the skin pop. No, I don't like them anymore. No. And Dustin's chops are the worst because he likes to break blood vessels. So, yeah. No. Let's see. So John was saying, what was your finishing move aside from a Waterboy drop kick? I'm not sure that we can actually, on this stream, without getting in trouble from YouTube, say what my finishing move was. I know I can't give you the name of it. For those that are wrestling fans, it is an inverted or upside down pedigree. That's all I will tell you, and then you can get creative with what the name might be. So, Dean saying they must have seen the falling off the roof stunt. Can't wait to see how it goes in the ring. Yeah, and that falling off the roof, surprisingly, that was like my body felt great. The only thing that hurt was like the ankle where my heel overshot my landing zone. But I kind of knew it was either going to be my heel or it was going to be my head. I opted for the heel.
Good call.
So
good call.
It was like
nailed it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So Dustin saying, "Ooh, I have a lot of chops left. Save them for everybody else. Save them for the other brother, not for me." So.
Does your other brother wrestle as well?
The oldest, yes. So, and I haven't talked to him.
Is he going to be there?
Last I heard, he was going to be there, but I haven't talked to him recently about that. But last I had heard, and it's been a while back, he was planning on being there. We had a tag team that always infuriated the little old ladies. Our tag team was called The Second Coming. And these little old ladies, I mean, they just get infuriated and be like, "Who do you think you are, Jesus Christ?" No. But what his second coming is to the world is what we are to the art of pro wrestling. She still didn't think it was funny. So, okay, John, you inverted or the other one on the other side being inverted. The person receiving it was inverted. I still performed the move about the exact same way. So that was my finisher. Yep. But anyhow.
Crazy, man.
There was something else I was going to mention that when we were talking about how we were able to do this with getting the audio in. So
yes.
The phone, and it's like you're hearing me like you normally would with the Shure SM7B.
Yes.
So you've got great audio coming through to you. I'm able to connect.
Very bassy. I love it.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that is, and that this is going through Bluetooth, although I know I do have a TRRS cable, and on the back of the Rodecaster, it has a place that you can plug in a smartphone through that. The neat thing about that is going to be for doing Instagram Live or TikTok Live or Twitter that now has Spaces, which is their version of what Clubhouse is, the audio only. So to be able to use the smartphone, but I get high quality audio coming through the SM7B. That is very intriguing to me. The only thing I need to figure out how to do is set up the video portion of this where like the camera's recording me, but you kind of got like the phone just kind of being off on the side and then maybe like a little display up here of what's on my screen. So that way I could repurpose some of that content as well. What do you think about that idea?
Cool.
Cool.
I have no idea what you're showing them, but yes. Sounds good.
I was here, if I can describe it, imagine my video, a full widescreen 16 by 9, and just off frame, kind of bokeh blurry, is the back of my cell phone that you can see I'm talking to or looking at. But then next to that is the screen recording from said smartphone.
Oh, okay.
So, because I'm thinking, I'm all about repurposing as much content as I can. And so if I'm doing, whether it be a TikTok or an Instagram, live, or if which those are mobile only. I mean, yes, you can use a few workarounds, like something like a Yellow Duck or Lula TV, which will allow you to kind of hack into them and stream from your computer. But they're also against the terms of service, and you risk your account being banned or shut down.
Yeah, stay away from that.
So without doing that, you want to go live from your mobile device. But a lot of times they don't store that recording. So to try to figure out how can I capture the recording in real time so then I can repurpose it. And that would be one of those things that I'm thinking of for not just that, but also for Twitter Spaces. Like I've been... The whole concept behind Clubhouse and the audio only platforms, the jury's still out with me. Like I'm not sure how well I even like the idea, but on the surface, that's kind of what you and I are doing here, only with, video attached to it. So to do a live chat like that, I could see that being somewhat beneficial. Bringing people in on the chat, yeah, I could see that. I'm not a huge fan of just the audio only. So that's where it's I want to be able to capture the video as well. And if Twitter wants to do just audio only, well, that's fine. I'm going to figure out how to capture that live. And I know Clubhouse is working and people are loving it, but it's still iPhone only. And I think still invite only. So at that point, it's like, you guys are now kind of behind the curve. When Twitter has got Spaces that is working on iPhone and Android, and you can not only join and listen in those spaces, but you can also start to create them from both devices. I think the creation of Spaces for Android is still in beta, but I've got access to it, so I need to play around with it and see what I think. But when I was thinking about that, it's like, if I'm doing that, I want to set myself apart, because I've hopped in on a few other people's spaces, and it's cell phone audio. It's okay. I would say it's good. Usually when they've got, some type of like an AirPod or a headphone in that, then it's good. But it's definitely not what I'm used to. I'm used to high quality audio. So that's kind of where I was thinking, hey, capture it.
Yeah, man, I don't. There's so much out there to take advantage of. I'm not sure how I feel about all the Clubhouse and what was the name of that one on Twitter?
Spaces
And all that. I don't understand the point. But then again, I haven't really been a part of any of that. I've heard people talking about it, and I don't get it.
Yeah, and
right now it just seems like personality. It seems personality driven, and once those personalities have moved on to something else, will it still remain?
Yep. Yeah, and the thing with Clubhouse, like the mass appeal for Clubhouse was it was a new toy that names and celebrities were having access to and investing in and pushing and promoting, and then you add in the FOMO because of it being exclusive and you've got to be one of the special ones to get access to it. That it kind of created the buzz around it, and I don't know. I mean, I've heard a few of the Clubhouse recordings, and they're just kind of like, meh. And at the same time, I'm also one of those that there's already so many other platforms out there that for me to download an entirely new app and migrate things over to a whole new platform, you better be amazing and stand out from everybody else. And the fact that Clubhouse isn't on Android, okay, well, you've already just kind of written me off, because what I've seen and what I've heard and the lack of why when people are trying to get me to join on. No, I'm not going to go buy an iPhone just to join that. And I don't want an iPhone for any reason. The only reason I would buy it is just for that. And unfortunately, Clubhouse hasn't been around or proved that they've got anything that I desire enough to get that. That being said, like, I've got a Mac that I bought just for running Ecamm. However, Ecamm had proved that, you know, with everything that these people watching on the stream are seeing, we got all of these neat little features, and it allows me to do so much and to pull things up that other platforms, they can't do without working a lot harder.
Right.
So, but now then you got Twitter with the spaces, and because that's all integrated inside Twitter, and I already use Twitter, it's like, all right. I mean, it's already there on an app. I appreciate the platform and what you guys do. So you're just adding another feature for me. Yeah, I might take advantage of it. So,
well, speaking of being on those particular platforms, I want to ask you how you're fleeting and how your ticking is coming along. But I need to interrupt right here, and this can't wait. No sparry tan at all. Teabag, what's Genevieve talking about? She's ribbing you about something. We need to find out what this is.
So
before it goes too far.
That is a autocorrect fail. It's no spray tan at all.
Spray tan at all.
Yeah, she will not let me do spray tan anymore. That happened once.
Oh my goodness.
And as far as any other comments from her, it may or may not be the name of my finishing move.
Gotcha.
So
that's well put. That way it came up in the comments and you didn't have to say it. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your fleeting and your flocking. Are you fleeting over there? Fleeking? Flittering?
So
and then how's your ticking coming?
Yeah, the ticking and the flittering. I love that.
I'm just gonna embrace it. I'm a 90-year-old man at this point when it comes to TikTok and Twitter. So
yeah. So on Twitter, I've been, you know me, with most of the platforms, if they've got a new feature, I'm all for trying out and testing out new features. So yes, I've been using the fleet. And what I've been doing, it's essentially Twitter's version of stories. I've been using it not as much as I use Instagram stories, which for those that follow me on Instagram isn't that much. But I mean, it's still quite a bit. I like what Twitter is trying to do. So Twitter is still kind of like the Wild West of social networks. Where as long as you're not being a complete moron, you're not going to run into any problems. Only if you're being a complete moron and doing things that would get you in trouble in public, only then are you really going to have issues with it. So for the most part, you know, you can find a community that engages with anything. And that's the neat thing over on Twitter. I've got those that follow me because of pro wrestling. Those that follow me just because I'm a pastor, those that follow me because I'm a vlogger. It's not a platform where I have to really niche down. I can just post whatever I feel like at any point in time.
How nice.
Yeah.
How incredibly nice. Not to, you know what I mean?
It is.
That's the entire world trying to get us to pare down to one thing, be good at one thing, specialize one. But I'm a person. Nah, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's been the great thing for that is that I just did what I do, kind of whatever I feel like doing, and I don't have to worry about what I'm posting. It's just I'm just going to post stuff, and whatever it is what it is, and I don't worry about it. As far as TikTok, I haven't uploaded the last couple days. That's just because of the taking the day off on Monday, which was when I was normally going to be recording the next batch of it. And then I don't remember. Oh, and then Tuesday I did the podcast recording, and I was blogging that out as well. So I did a blog with the podcast. That was an all-day ordeal. Way too long for that. But today I'll be recording some more TikToks, and because of the digital ministry podcast episode where I gave the 10 vertical video ideas, I'm actually going to be implementing a few of those. So over on TikTok, I would venture to say that at least for the remainder of April, I'm probably going to be uploading 3 times a day, 3 different TikToks.
Question.
Yeah.
Real quick. What are the metrics that you're looking for on the old TikTok? TikTok.
So with all analytics on any platform, I don't look at like the micro of the individual type stuff. I'm looking at the macro approach. So I'm looking overall in a longer period. So what am I seeing out of the last, 30 days? What does that look like? And if there is, at least as far as the typical metrics and analytics go, so over on TikTok, they've got built-in analytics that you can look at, and it's, views, followers, and then like profile views. As long as all of that is going, up, then I'm happy. I don't care at what rate it's really going up. But then there's the, I don't know what we would want to call this. So like in weight loss, we had scale victories and then non-scale victories. So a scale victory is when you see the pounds dropping if you're trying to lose weight, or gaining if you're trying to gain weight. The scale victories are very measurable. But then there are non-scale victories where it's like, this pair of pants fits. I haven't lost any weight, but it actually fits now, and it didn't a month ago. Those are the type of non-scale victories. So I look at those as well, and that's something that's harder to measure. So for me on, like with TikTok or with YouTube or anything, am I able to connect with people in a deeper or more meaningful way? So when I've got people that are reaching out, asking for prayer or telling me how much a video helped them, that type of stuff is like, okay, that's something that I can't measure. And it's hard to track that stuff. So that stuff really means more to me than anything else, because I think a lot of what I do online, because it came from God, it's very focused on the person, rather than just a number. But like, as far as I've got some analytics up here, and in the last, 28 days, it looks like I have gained 1,500 followers on TikTok, had an extra 700 profile views, which is up by 80%. And my total video views are at 92,000. And that's up 119% from the previous 28 days.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's definitely going up. And then beyond that, just some of the comments that, have been, really kind of fun, enjoying to read. Like there was one that I had here, and I'm wondering if I can even find it real fast.
What would you say the ratio of positive to negative comments on old TikTok is?
For me, more positive than negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I would say it's probably pretty similar to what I get on any other platform in the ratio. So, even on my YouTube channel, you guys have seen it. It's mostly positive, but then occasionally, you get the knucklehead here and there that just wants to not even listen to anything you said, and they just want to argue for the sake of arguing. And, you'll get that occasionally. But there's been some pretty meaningful stuff that happens. Like I think it was just a couple days ago. There was another user that had tagged me and like 5 other TikTokers that he called, I don't know, like more spiritually mature or something along those lines. And he was asking a question, and it was based on, Romans 6:23 that says the wages of sin are death. Right. But then in 1 Corinthians 15, where the Apostle Paul says that there's a sin that's not leading to death. And he was just genuinely curious. He's like, I'm confused. I thought all sin leads to death. And so, I mean, that was a genuine conversation of somebody just wanting to know, help me understand this. It wasn't somebody that was, like an atheist or an agnostic that's like, oh, look, there's a contradiction in the Bible. This is what I believe Christians should be doing with their approach. When they see a contradiction, realize the Bible doesn't contradict itself. So if it looks like a contradiction, you've got a lack of understanding and you just don't see what's really being said. And that's what this kid was wanting to know. So, he tags me in a video. Go ahead.
You seem to have more of that exception to the rule than anybody else that I've spoken with when it comes to, social media interaction. Because, you get your trolls, and for the most part, you just kind of, you blow them off, or how it is that your plan is to interact with them. But you've come across a handful, if not more, individuals who have apologized or recanted or whatever, changed their mind on something, and that has been incredible. I think we mentioned it last week in your live stream, but the girl who hopped on one of your last videos,
right?
I thought for sure she was trolling you, fishing for an argument, and you simply explained something to her. I thought you were going to lower the boom on her, but you explained one simple thing, and then she turned around. It was like, oh,
yeah. Well, and I mean, I kind of did. I replied. I mean, you read that comment. I came in heavy with the snark.
There's a little sass in there. I love it. Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, because when I see somebody being snarky or it comes across that way, I'm just going to throw it back at them. And then here you go. But at the same time, my typical approach, and I've done a video on this way back when, my typical approach with trolls is ignore them. Just ignore them. To me, trolls are like stray cats. If you keep feeding them, they keep growing. So don't feed them. Just let them go somewhere else. So that's typically what I do. And occasionally I'll get caught in it because I don't know if somebody was really trolling or not. Because the way it comes across, it's like, I don't know. And if this was a genuine question, I'll respond. Once I find out it's a troll, then I'll either just ignore them or I will just play with them.
Engagement.
So, and that was I think the last one that I did on the YouTube channel. And what did I do? Oh, I was replying. I didn't even read any of their replies. I just responded with 80s music lyrics. So every time they commented, I just replied. And anything.
Did they ever give up?
I think so. I mean, I don't like anything that went into the held for review. I just ignore it. Like, I'll scan my comments that are held for review, and if it's somebody that I know, I'll do them. If it's somebody that has already kind of been trolling, I just delete all those. I don't even pay attention to them. I'm assuming they gave up.
You got held for review the other day on one of our live streams. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I've seen general comments, and it's for legitimate reasons. But you got held for review. I couldn't figure out why in the world YouTube would have found that as threatening.
I don't know. I mean,
it was, but
John gets held. John gets held or was getting held all the time on my channel. My mom got held for review a couple times on my channel. However, I did just notice the other day that YouTube now has the ability to essentially whitelist people that will pop up in your comments. And so I did that with John until he decides to troll me again. So he says he trolls the people calling to tell me that he has an issue with my computer.
Have you seen I just came across this guy, Scammer.
Yes.
The guy who hacks scammers' computers.
Yep.
And just turns it on them. That is hilarious. My wife's like, this is way too stressful. I'm like, babe, he's giving them exactly what they deserve. They're calling to steal money.
Yep.
He's just jacking with them.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, and there was some of his more recent ones. I know he paired up with Mark Rober, doing the glitter bomb and stuff, and that was fun to see those. So,
John, thank you for your service.
Yes.
You troll the people who are calling you. Thank you for your service.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, he's like, I had the guy on the phone for 10 minutes. He thought I was actually running Windows 95. Hey, here's one other question. Okay, I got this for you. This was actually a question that came across. Actually, it wasn't a question. It was a comment that came across TikTok. I was following. Who is this? Oh, Kirby is a boss. I don't know if you heard of her or not, but she was doing. She's got a fun YouTube channel. I get a kick out of watching her stuff. Haven't seen it in quite a bit, but I came across her over on TikTok, and she was basically saying, when somebody says, prove that God exists without using the Bible, and then she kind of went in on, here's how you would do it. Well, I mean, I appreciate what she was saying and everything. And I just said, well played. But when people ask me that, I typically just respond, no, because it's a distraction and a diversion from what God's called me to. And so it was like, that's just my typical response. Well, somebody did not like it. And I'm trying to find the comment. Oh, he said, so what if that soul would have believed when presented with apologetics? Because I said so, Christianity is turning from the shepherd. We do have proof. Use it. It's so sad to me when I hear pastors preach this way, as if Jesus, the man who forgave a murderer as he himself was dying, is cynical. Oh, and then we have as a church have demonized Thomas the Doubter, but didn't Jesus appear again saying he could be saved? Now, to me, that was obviously somebody that didn't even understand what I was saying. So he's got no response, but this has come up to me multiple times on YouTube. Yeah, multiple people, multiple Christians, several pastors have even said this. When they see somebody try to engage in the comments and I just ignore them or I reply with no, it's like, prove this or explain this. No. It's just like, no. And they're like, well, you're always supposed to be ready with a defense for your faith. And I'm like, I am ready with a defense, but they're not entitled to my defense. And they're not entitled to distract me from doing something else. And my typical approach is, what happens if that one soul, if I could have given apologetics to save that one soul, if you're going to give me a question like that, I'm going to make them answer a question first. What happens if me giving apologetics to that one soul prevents me from reaching 100 others? And that's kind of where I come in. It's like the content that I'm doing and the time that I'm spending on this, it's aimed at one with the intention of reaching many. And I'm making lots of kind of long form content. And so I could get wrapped up in a conversation with somebody trying to defend Christianity when I'm not called to apologetics as a type of a ministry. And if I get trapped in that and I go down that, how much time have I just wasted where I could be spending it doing the exact thing that God has actually called me to do? So that's kind of where my approach has always been. And I've told people that, especially like I've got friends that are in doing apologetics ministry. And it's like, I love and appreciate what they do because there's such a need for it. But that's not what I'm called to do.
Exactly.
So
I'm a big dude. I'm with you. I'm a big fan of testing the spirit, testing every spirit, or a lot of discernment, that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that this person was demonized or anything like that, but there's a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
Exactly what you were saying. There's a lot of like, if any of you out there who've ever been involved in deliverance ministries or anything like that, the demonic are constantly trying to tie you up in conversations that would distract you from the real issue. And, certain questions like what you're talking about break through and cut through the mess. And they've got to be, God ordained questions. But for the most part, it's just a smoke screen. It's just to tie you up in things that don't actually matter. So no, I'm with you. It's almost like casting your pearls before swine. Whether that be a timing element, whether that be, what.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they were demonized, but like what thought? Where did that thought come in? Like, why would you, instead of edifying one another and encouraging one another, why would why would your first reaction be to spar?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think there is something like you just kind of touched on. The discernment is so important. You know, and that's a hard thing, especially when it comes to, like, when I hear people and it's one-on-one in a conversation, you can hear their tone, you can hear the inflection in the voice, you can pick up on things, especially just as a student of humanity, you start to learn how people speak and respond. If I know somebody wants to fight, just because you want to fight doesn't mean I have to fight. Exactly. So it's like, I'm not always going to do that. But there are times when, yes, apologetics does come in. If I do hear somebody asking a genuine question with concern, such as the one, hey, there's this contradiction that I'm seeing. Well, that sounded like a genuine question to me. And I was more than happy to answer that, even though that was, you know, kind of a consumption of my time. It was one of those that it was like, yeah, I felt right doing that at that point in time because it felt more like good soil, good ground for what I was supposed to be doing. Whereas other times, like when people are just like, oh, defend the Bible. Tell me that God exists without using the Bible. Only after you can prove to me that God doesn't exist with using the Bible. It's like,
it's just such an absurd thing, you know? Like, I understand the creator of that video. I understand she's saying we have other avenues. Like, you know, if you're put on the spot, you know, let the Spirit of God testify. Let the creation of God testify. I get what she's saying, but like, it's just such a non-event, because anybody who walks 3 steps past that is going to realize that you don't go anywhere without the Word of God. Like, you're not going to function.
Yeah.
If you want to know Him fully, you may have gotten a taste of Him, that He is out there. He shows up in some powerful way. That's some folks, like street evangelism and whatnot.
Yep.
Praying for the sick, praying for people in situations, and God shows up in a powerful way. Well, that was outside of the scriptures, like reading the scripture to them. But it's, you know, it's the love of God. They're eventually going to find themselves, if He encounters them, tearing through those scriptures. So it's a non-event. It's just like those things those meaningless controversies that we're not supposed to be caught up in. Yeah. You know?
Well, and and then even just the aspect of do it without using the Bible. Why would I, as a pastor,
there's some stable ground,
ever want to try to get into that? Like, I mean, I already do enough preaching and using like contemporary illustrations that are already extra biblical. Why would I want to try to do more? So I don't know. John was saying, can't do the Holy Spirit's job for him. Let Him be the one to speak to somebody. I had people preach to me, but until God got a hold of me, I wasn't going to change my mind. Seeds were sown and watered. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dean is trying to keep his Calvinism to himself right now.
See, that's a prime example of a comment with relationship, and possibly could need some more context. Like, you could come across that comment and go, Dean, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know, like, and take it as, luckily there's emojis there. So he's having a good time. But, you know, if you were to come across that comment, you'd be like, what in the world? But luckily we have relationship, which I think buys more time to say, Dean, what are you talking about, man? Clue me in on the joke. What part that we were talking about where, you know, your Calvinism is flaring up, and, you know, you want to hop in on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the good thing about like the relational type community. I think that may even be a lot of why we were talking about why I'm kind of the anomaly on these without getting a ton of trolls. I do get them, and I'm sure at some point as everything starts to scale up, there's going to be more and more. But percentage-wise, I don't think so. Just because I think I'm very focused on the relational aspect of it. And I think because of that, it kind of helps. I think it comes across pretty well that this is who I am. I think there's also
I would be
a confidence in it.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd be willing to bet that was one of your higher performing videos, at least the one that you're talking about, the one that they comment on yours, because I think for the most part you've been so clear in your communication about whose you are and who
Right.
you represent, that if you're here, you're along for the ride and you're buying into the whole deal.
Yeah.
But if you come across somebody in maybe one of those, what we might call an evangelistic type video, an outreach type video, that you're pressing some boundaries, you're hopping on a hot topic or something, that you came across it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I typically will get more trolls when I do a video about Bible translations. Or wearing masks in public.
People, I'm sure.
Yeah, those are the ones, and it's just like, whatever. Which I think one of the most recent ones that I had, somebody had mentioned, KJV only, it's the only true one. And I was like, yeah, actually, I would prefer to go with NKJV because that's the one the Apostle Paul used. It's just like, I mean, here's the crazy part. Like, we're in America, so there's a lot of those KJV onlys, and I understand where they're coming from. I'm not going to knock them. If you want to use the KJV only, go ahead and use the KJV only. My stance when it comes to somebody saying, what is the best Bible translation? My answer has always been simple. The one that you understand well enough that it draws you to a closer relationship with God. That's it. What Bible do you read? What translation can you read that draws you closer to Him? That's the best one for you. Because if you're reading an archaic language or reading a contemporary language and you don't get it and you don't understand it, it's not going to do you any good. So it's like, find the best one. And for people to sit there and say, oh, KJV is the only one. What about all those people that don't speak English at all? I mean, what are they supposed to use? I mean, what if they can only understand Romanian? You're saying they have to use the Queen's English? And that's where there's like this disconnect that we in America, we've taken that approach. And it's just like, man, just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. At the same time, if you want to make it that complicated, more power to you.
Exactly.
I ain't going to stop you.
I'm one of those complicated people. I like to study from one. I like to just simply read from another. And there's sometimes I like to turn my brain off entirely and just catch the emotion of it. And that's different translations. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we got John as a Greek scholar, so he just prefers to read Greek.
He prefers the Greek.
I prefer Greek yogurt.
That's going to make the Old Testament pretty hard. You keep on at it, buddy.
Cameron saying, yes, the best translation is the one you read. Just like the best exercise for you is the one that you do. And unfortunately, I don't do exercise. Except for drinking coffee.
Yeah. Hey, did that floating coffee hand come in at all?
It did not come in at all.
Well, you need some.
And that
Genevieve. Where is she? Did
that
she fall down on the job?
Well, she might have come in at some point. I know I sent her a message. I think she might have, but I wasn't. I was so locked in on the lens today. So probably because if I look over at you, you're just staring at me with
I look
a
surprised.
goofy face.
What's my face?
I don't know how we describe that emotion.
Gotcha.
So it's interesting is what it is. But anywho, I think that should wrap us up for the day. We made it through without you having any video and just a bunch of goofy faces. So
there we go.
That works. All right. Yeah.
The definition of phoning it in right here.
It was phoning it in, and it did work. So I guess that'll wrap us up. Love y'all. Until next time, stay blessed and enjoy God's best.